Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, and as Terry said, we are committed to transforming lives one at a time. A lot of ministries, they're doing it 2 or 3 at a time. We just are sticking with that one at a time thing. Seems to be working better. All right, Becky Brown is sitting next to me.
Hello.
Here in the studio. Hello, Becky. Good to see you. Thanks for
Good to be here.
Driving all the way over.
Yes.
And Dr. Jill Hubbard is in the studio also. Hi, Jill.
Yes. Hi, Steve. Hi, Becky.
Hi, Jill.
And any of you, if you'd like to join our program, you could call us 1-800-229-3000. We're live on YouTube, and it's New Life Live is the YouTube channel. If you just do New Life, there's some other person that I don't know there. Anyway, I want to mention this, that Going Deeper is a program that airs at 5 o'clock Eastern Time on the YouTube channel. Been going through the alphabet. I'm very basic. We may do the numbers next, but we're on Q, which stands for quiet, and I'm just wondering how much quiet there is in your life, and what a blessing to have a quiet mind and a quiet heart. I actually experienced that back in 1947, and but since then, not too quiet.
You know, over the weekend, I'm strange this way because I was looking at our New Life YouTube channel, and there's so many great videos that are there that are not just the radio program, which is great, but I was looking at some of the Going Deeper, and I was looking all the way back to the letter A. And anxiety, because there is a bit of that going on. And I just think, you know, for those of you who are listening and if you've never checked out the YouTube channel before, there are so many great resources just with Going Deeper, Life Recovery Today, the New Life Live show, and we've got some old shows there too, which are classics.
John and Henry, the boys shows, we've got them there.
And Dave Stute, we got some with Dave.
My buddy Dave. Yeah. Yep, that's the pen he gave me, you know.
Well, and you know, it's important for people to, you know, to follow us on YouTube, like the channel, subscribe it, and share it with other people. Right. I was talking to a couple of donors yesterday. I don't know if you know this, Steve or Jill, but some people fall asleep to us. Have you ever heard that?
No, I do it.
You do?
Yeah, I'm here on the program.
Not on the radio.
I don't mean here. I mean,
not while we're doing the show.
They listen to us doing the show as they're falling asleep at night. It's a calming and just reassuring. And I thought, well, there you go. I mean, you just never know how it's impacted your life.
You never, ever know. You know, I have actually, this actually happened. I was doing a video, and Dave and I had flown in to Lynchburg, and both of us were in California. We were using a teleprompter, and I literally fell asleep while reading and just kept reading. And you know how you might be talking to somebody and you realize, oh, I just dozed off, you know?
And have no idea what they said?
I wake up to the fact that, oh, I have just dozed off.
And I'm
talking. I'm reading. I'm still going here. Multitasker. I can sleep and read at the same time. So now I sleep like a horse standing up. Anyway, 1-800-229-3000. That is the number. And again, as I said, right now, YouTube Live is where you could see us. We'd love for you to like it and share it with somebody. You know, maybe you know somebody that did just, you know, they complain about life, or they really have just everything that could possibly go wrong has, and a couple of things that possibly could not go wrong have also gone wrong. Say, look, here's a place where you might get some encouragement. We'd love for you to share the show with them. Please do. All right, 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need some help, and 1-800-229-3000. We'll be doing 2 shows today, so that means you got a couple hours to get in here. We'd love to talk with you. We'll be right back after this with Dr. Jill Hubbard and Becky Brown. Please stay tuned.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is coming to Dallas, Texas, October 15th to the 17th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
And New Life's group counselors will help you focus on the area that will benefit your marriage most. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. We were just talking about the YouTube channel, and Becky was mentioning that perhaps our most viewed YouTube on there is a question that was asked on radio. Mylan and I were on the program. Who was with us, Becky? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Yeah. So anyway, someone called in and asked if oral sex was okay in Christian marriages. And I looked at Mylan, and I said to the caller who's on the line, I said, oh, it is such a wonderful thing that you called today, because we have an expert in that area. Mylan, what do you think? Well, he started laughing so hard, turns his chair to the wall. You can't see his face. It was so red. It was, I mean, it was one of the most amazing moments. So a lot of people, they go to YouTube for our content, other for watching
For the laugh.
Mylan be
Laughter is good,
humiliated there. All right, let's go to our phones here, 1-800-229-3000, and we're going to talk to Josie from Orange, California. And she listens on the podcast of our program. And hi, Josie. How are you today?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
Doing all right. What's on your mind?
Well, I have a teenage daughter, and she has ADHD, and she is depressed, has a lot of anxiety. About a month ago, she tried to take a half-full pill, and I don't know how to parent her very well. I don't know how to help her get through this. We have a lot of issues in our family. We have a lot of anger with, my husband has a lot of anger and wants to have her punished a lot of times for things. And I think that she's trying to work through her anxiety and depression. We're in counseling. And when I say we're in counseling, I mean, she is in counseling. She has 2 therapists, one at school and one outside of school, and then I also have one that I just began seeing for myself to try to help myself figure things out as well. And I just don't know if I'm covering all the bases here.
Mm-hmm. I wrote down the word when you said I don't know how to parent her. I wrote down the word resource. And I think that in a situation like this, the way you parent someone like her, first of all, a lot of other things, is you have to be a person that resources your daughter, gets the resource she needs. And you've done that. She has 2 counselors, one at school, one outside of school. So I'll let Jill and Becky take it from there, but I want to affirm the fact that good parents, effective parents, get the right resource. Yesterday, we talked to a woman whose husband said that he, after sexual abuse and trauma, said about the daughter who had been traumatized, well, shouldn't her faith be enough to help her? What a horrible thing. See, that's a horrible parenting stance to take. you took the right stance and found the resource. Jill, let's start with you. What are you thinking
Well,
here?
Josie, my heart really goes out to you. And being the parent of ADD and ADHD children, I get the struggles that they go through. And also just that we're seeing so much increased depression and anxiety over the last couple of years through COVID. And just in this age group, I think they have a hard time, and you throw the ADHD in there. I remember my son saying recently to me, Mom, why can't I do simple things? I can do all these wonderful things, but I can't do simple things. And so it's really difficult for them. Josie, I want to commend you because you are doing so many of the right things. You are gathering, as Steve said, people around you. And that's what you have to do. There isn't a, do this and all will be okay. This is a journey that you're walking through with your daughter, and you're helping her in her mental health. And right now, she's not so stable. So in some ways, it's like children that go through this regress. And so they need you to draw closer and to be there more often. And with the suicidality, that's a child that just feels like at the end of herself. She doesn't know what to do, right? Everything seems dark and bleak. So you have to be her hope without being, Mary Sunshine. Part of how she receives hope is that you try to enter in and understand what she's going through, understand what it's like for her. Even if from your adult eyes you think, well, this will pass and she'll be fine. No, you have to understand that this is, her age right now is the most that she has lived. This is the extent of her understanding, and her world looks very dark right now. So having those people around you and walking through it day by day, the support for her, the support for you, and not being afraid to draw in more support even as needed.
So I think there's another issue here too, Josie. I think that your daughter is kind of she's the thermometer for the whole home. When you were talking about your husband being very strict and condemning and just critical, that is coming from a place of fear on his part and control. When you have somebody who's out of control and you desire control, it may come out as anger. And I think what I would encourage you to do, and he may be resistant to this, that the two of you go to therapy together because, I don't know, have you asked him already, Josie?
We've tried therapy. In fact, we last went 6 months ago because he quit. We had been going for about a year and a half, and we were kind of getting to places where I think he felt very uncomfortable. And the last session, he just began shouting at the therapist, saying, "I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to come. I don't want to be with her."
Right.
There's just a lot of issues there.
He's got a core wound somewhere that you got too close to. But see, I think that's what's happening with your daughter is he's seeing her pain. He's feeling helpless. It's touching onto his own pain. And so he comes out as over-controlling, anger, critical, which, I mean, it's a family thing.
Yeah, and often when men are afraid, they get angry. That's the emotion that they go to, and then they push away what feels intolerable.
Okay, so here's the thing. He sounds like he is extremely shame-inducing to your daughter. Would you say that's true?
Yes.
Okay. And he's decided he's not going to get help for being a shaming, punitive, disconnected parent and husband, right?
Yes.
And you've decided that that's okay. And that's where the hopelessness comes in for your daughter. Because she is expecting that you're not going to stand for this. You are going to be her champion. And if she senses that you aren't willing to do anything other than go see a counselor for yourself, then she's going to feel like, well, this is my life. This is the way I have to live. When in reality, she knows it doesn't have to be this way. Mm-hmm. So I have to ask you, what are you afraid of? Why aren't you doing everything you can to prevent him from destroying her life?
I think the answer to that would be that I would need to leave him. Mm. And that's a scary thing. But I've been with him for 35 years, and I've seen so much that I think that I feel guilt for just putting up with. Mm-hmm. And as he gets older, I feel like it's really a spiral, whereas before we could have a counselor or a pastor step in or a friend and kind of reel things back in, and it's not happening anymore. It seems to be going just in the opposite direction.
And it will continue to do that. And what I'm talking about, you actually have a chance that things would be different for you, him, and your daughter. You're never going to know that if you continue to convince yourself this move that I might make is going to make it worse.
But I think, Josie, what you just described is a lifelong codependent pattern. That because of his being out of control, your job, your role in the family was to keep it under control. Would you say that describes your role?
Most definitely, yeah.
Right. And so at some point, you have to recognize, I can't control anyone. I literally don't have that power. Because if you did, he wouldn't be doing that. And it's not because you've tried forever. So it may be the boundary is, okay, honey, you're not going to go to therapy. You need to go find someplace else to live. Until you recognize that our house is on fire, we need to address this. Our daughter is wanting to kill herself because she's so overwhelmed with this. And you may need somebody to help you say that, but this is a pattern that's developed over time in your family. And it's going to take some pretty bold steps to disrupt it.
And that's what your therapist can help you with. You say, I don't want you to make me feel better.
Right.
I want you to help me develop a strategy that has a chance, the best chance perhaps, that I could help my daughter, myself, and my husband.
Right.
And passivity has made things worse. She took pills, took a bottle of pills. Now, I'm going to guarantee you this. If she had died, you would be leaving your husband. You would be so upset at what had happened, everything would fall apart. So I would say if you were able to say to him, I want you and me to get some help. Our daughter deserves us to get some help. Problems don't just come up inside of a child. They happen in a family. And all of us need help. She does, I do, you do. I'm going to ask you to choose a path where we can all get better. If you don't choose that path, I'm just going to assume it's all going to continue to get worse, and I can't let that happen. So I'm going to ask you to move out if you're not going to move into therapy with me. Jill?
Oh, I like that, Steve. I like how you said that. And Josie, you can think about it as we need a time out here. I need to create a safe space for this child who doesn't need to be punished because she's depressed. Becky, I liked your words about being kind of the thermometer or the barometer in the family. Yeah. She's getting caught in the crossfires here. And so she's displaying the health. And so, Josie, you do need to act, and it's really scary. But a timeout doesn't mean forever. A timeout is hopeful because it gives everybody time to reconsider what they're willing to do.
I would probably have a conversation with your daughter's therapist and see if there's agreement that the husband, unwilling to get therapy, really does need to leave, and that would actually be a hopeful thing for your daughter, that something can change here. I'm not stuck. It's not all just going to get worse and worse, which is what you've described.
And you know what, Josie, just occurred to me that you were just about to switch roles from being codependent with your husband to being codependent with your daughter. And we've got to get to a healthy way of connection and a path forward where everyone is seeking wholeness in their life, as opposed to you trying to keep everybody together.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come right back. A couple more comments.
My husband's been addicted to porn since he was 10 years old.
I found out about 9 months into my marriage that he has a porn addiction.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, a physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., November 12th through the 14th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the New Life member thank you gift of the New Life Journal, 100 Days of Peace, 7 Ways to Choose Healing, Growth Has No Boundaries, a Restoration Bible, and a New Life grocery tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits, like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here with Dr. Jill Hubbard and Becky Brown, and we just want a couple more comments. Josie, we always at the break try to think and rethink what we've shared here.
Well,
maybe we'll start. Jill, go
this
ahead.
is such a prevalent, I think, situation, different variables, but for so many families. So I think it's really important. And Josie, I know what we're asking you to do is really difficult. I'm wondering, who else is in your household? Are there other kids, other people involved? Are you there, Josie?
We have 3 other children.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. We have 3 other children.
Okay.
But they've all moved out.
They're older? This is your youngest?
Yeah, there's quite a bit of an age difference between our oldest and our youngest. Our oldest is 35 and 33 and then 25, so there's a big difference in age group.
Okay.
What are they saying to you about their younger sister and what's happened with her? What do they say?
That's what's so interesting to me is that they feel that she's acting out for attention and because she's spoiled. However, these kids grew up in the same household, and I know that they had similar experiences, so I just don't understand how they come to that. I mean, I guess I do in ways because she has probably more things that they had when they were growing up. We were at a different place, you know, at that time.
But you said that he has gotten worse.
Right, yeah.
You said he's gotten worse. Nobody grows up in the same household, actually.
Well, right. She may have more monetarily because you're older now, but she's gotten it worse in terms of dad and the family dynamics.
Well, the other thing is, just like what Steve just said about nobody grows up in the same house, but you've got those three were pretty close in age. You got a 10-year spread, and so they were probably in the house at the same time.
There's a lot of buffering
with
more people.
Yes.
Right?
They weren't the focus of his ire.
Well, also, they lived in a home where you survived by not feeling.
There you go.
And so they're not going to feel compassion for little sister because they don't know how to do that very well, especially if they're related to somebody.
And you know what I always say, when people say that they're doing it for attention, and I don't, you know, there's a lot of things that people will attribute that to. Okay, well then pay attention. Okay, if they're doing it for attention, find out what they need. Find out where the issue is. And it's not about a stage. It's literally, what do you need? How do you hurt?
Because all behavior has meaning. Right. So sure, it's a cry for help. But if you just look at the surface, you just see an acting out adolescent instead of, Becky, like you're saying, there's something much deeper here. And as we've been talking, there's something going on from the top down. And it sounds like it's with dad.
Well, it's, you know, and she absolutely could be wanting attention to this hopeless situation, Mom. And I don't know of a case where some kid wakes up one day and says, hey, this will be fun. Right. I'll try to kill myself, and I'll give me a lot of attention. That'll be great. No, it's an act of desperation and attention and focus, and the response needs to be something more than, okay, let's just you and me continue to go to our counselors, and he will be allowed to continue unabated to get worse and worse. You're training her, marry somebody that is irresponsibly destructive to a family, and help them
or detached emotionally.
Yeah.
Right. Detached emotionally, and they can't handle a whole lot. And so, you know, Josie, if he won't leave, I would even say maybe you and your daughter leave for a while. Or maybe there's another family that your daughter could stay with for a while. Now, I realize we don't know the full extent of all of her behavior, and I'm not saying she's completely innocent in the way she's handling things, right? She's not coping well. And that way of coping and getting attention can be very destructive. But it does speak to, if you just try to corral that behavior, you're going to be missing the bigger picture.
And one other thing to think about. She needs to be in counseling with you or with you and dad. Like sending her
in addition to individual.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, and it doesn't have to be every single week, but literally there's a communication breakdown here of how to share feelings, how to, you know, work through some big challenges. Because I would love to know what she's not telling you or what she is telling you that you can't hear. And all of us as parents, Josie, we have to learn to listen better and differently. And, you know, she's trying to bust up what's been going on for 30 some years. And, you know, she might have some good points there. We just don't want her to take her life.
I want to tell you, one of the reasons that I am still committed and dedicated to doing what we do is people like your daughter, if they get the right kind of help, if the parents make the right kind of decisions, they get better than you would have ever expected them to be if they'd never had a problem. The right kind of help, they grow from this. They develop endurance and strength and character. I've seen the other side of this, and it's really a wonderful thing to see the transformation that can come. This does not have to be the future. You can carve out a different future for you and for her, but it is a painful carving out of. It hurts you. It's uncomfortable. But I just hope and pray that this phone call, her attempts at suicide, would be enough for you to say it's got to be different.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here with Becky Brown, Dr. Jill Hubbard. Jill, you had one other comment I think you wanted to make there.
Well, just that I think we should send her Take Your Life Back. And I know somebody that was having issues with their young adolescent adult who was having a lot of depression and anxiety, and they sent her to our emotional freedom workshop, and it really turned her life around. So I just think that is so amazing that a young person could go and get so much from that.
And you mentioned that you feel really bad for Josie because she is doing some good stuff here.
Right. I think she's doing so many of the things that we recommend, but sometimes situations are so severe that it needs more, right? You add things, and if it contains the situation, great. It's like if the roof is leaking and you put a bucket there, and then the bucket starts overflowing, you need to add a second bucket. So you need to keep adding buckets until
or you need to get up on that roof and change the shingles.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's kind of what we're talking about, you know?
That is what we're talking about.
One of the we're going to be offering 5 irrefutable truths that can transform somebody's life. And one of those is that no one thing changes everything.
Right.
But another one is that one thing can destroy everything. Mm-hmm. And so if you don't address that one thing, like how many times have we seen people, everything's great in their life except that little sex addiction thing that causes them to lose their church, their legacy, everything. And so here is an example. Yes, she's doing a lot of things, but you have to be sure you're doing the one thing, which is dealing with him in a different way.
It reminds me of the passage that that New Life is based on is Romans 12:2. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Sometimes we are not aware of the places that need to be transformed.
Yeah.
And we just live in that same place thinking, well, it's just never going to get any different, and this is just the way it's going to be, until you do the one thing.
And that is the translators of the New Living. They translated it this way: be transformed by changing the way you think. Renewing the mind means we have to stop thinking the way we have been thinking, think differently, better, godly perspective. And when I say to somebody, you can be transformed by changing the way you think, they go, oh, God, it sounds so simple. Nothing could be harder than changing
the truth.
The way you think. Well, speaking of changing the way you think, Larry has helped us change the way we think about giving, supporting. So, Larry, what do you have for us today?
Steve, there are so many testimonies that come in, and this is Intimacy and Marriage Weekend coming up.
Yes.
And I love this testimony. It's brief, but there's something about it that's different than most. My life before coming to this weekend was hopeless, helpless, and full of misunderstanding of my spouse's motivations and intentions. This weekend has been, above all, healing. I leave here with the knowledge that even though we live in a world filled with sin and pain, God has given each one of us the ability to live a life full of love, care, hope, intimacy, and happiness, a mirror of the restoration that is to come. If this workshop was incorporated into the educational system, the world would be a better place.
Wow.
I love that. You know, we got to teach our kids growing up how they can talk, relate to one another, communicate, share, transparency, all that stuff. And it would be a better place.
It would. And it's always good for us parents to grow up first.
Yeah.
Then we can help them grow up. Not an easy thing growing up.
But
right. Just learning to be present with another human being is really, really difficult, right? And now we all hide behind screens, so we're not eyeball to eyeball most of the time.
So true. But folks, if you're not signed up for this workshop and you can get there by Friday morning, this is for you. Or I guess it's Friday noon or afternoon. And if you would support somebody coming, you could give to the scholarship fund, or you could just make a gift to New Life for our general purposes, which is keeping this thing going, helping to do the things that we do that God blesses, He honors, and we give Him the glory for it all.
You know, Larry, I talked to a donor yesterday who's been part of Club New Life for quite a while. And she said, you know, I listened for so many years and I got so much from listening. And then it dawned on me one day, hey, I should be supporting this ministry that's helped me for so many years. And she's been Club New Life for a long time since. But it's just a reminder for our listeners who are thinking, gosh, I love what I'm hearing. Well, help us do what we're doing. And that's what we're asking for.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, because I'm always looking, praying, and hoping for those first-time givers.
Yeah, and if you hate what you're hearing, we have a counselor that we can
Yes, we
help
do.
you with.
And a
group. And if you give anyway, then that will help you heal. So
be less resentful.
1-800-NEW-LIFE is the number. If you can help us, we would love for you to do that. And
hey,
we can help you. It is the same number. Yeah, Larry.
I was just going to share. You guys were sharing. I heard you share how you were falling asleep and standing up.
Yeah,
I've got to share my embarrassing falling asleep moment. We used to do the college-age kids at our home. You know, once a week they'd come over. We'd fix a meal. We'd do Bible study. Well, before we ate, we would do some study and we'd say a prayer. And it was my turn to pray, and I prayed. And in the middle of that prayer, I paused a little too long. And when I woke up, they were all eating.
Oh, my word.
Wow, that's amazing.
Oh, my word.
But you made me think of that today, and I just wanted to share that.
Spirit.
You know, I got to talk to those people one time, remember?
And I do remember.
They woke up and I was eating. So after I got through talking. Anyway, thank you for that, Larry.
Right.
Oh, my goodness. You know, a lot of people do not know what we do. And what we do is that we try to get our message out on YouTube, and Facebook, and all these other different platforms. Get the word out that there's hope for you. And we do this radio program. It's our biggest ministry, the biggest reach that we have. We hear people say all the time. It really was the only counseling that I ever had, was hearing you talk to somebody else and me applying that to my life. So you really are, when you support the ministry, you're supporting people getting help. But then we love getting people into a counseling relationship with somebody that's a Christian, that's qualified, licensed, so they've got the best of what research has taught us about human nature and transformation, and the best of biblical truth, the way it was intended to be interpreted. Jeremiah 6:14, I quote it often. They treat the mortal wound of my people with superficial treatments. They say there is peace where there is no peace. Do they blush? No, they don't even blush in doing it. So there are shamelessly folks presenting superficial spiritual band-aids, quick fix, instant solution, and it doesn't work. And we're trying to come in here with great counseling, with our weekend intensives that we're doing, to provide the best that offers you the most hope for transformation. And we've always done that in partnership with other people. And we are grateful.
Steve, I think we really try to listen and hear what the needs are, and to try to create workshops or radio programs and things that will meet people where they're at, not necessarily where we want them to be in 10 years, right?
Right.
The goal is to get them there, but so often well-meaning people quoting scripture, and we know that that's healing, but if you have somebody that's in fight or flight, they can't really sit and process a scripture, right? They have to have their anxiety dealt with. They have to be able to have their brain calmed down enough to be in a place to receive really the good news. Yeah. And so I think that's what we try to do. We speak to the hurts and not just, okay, do this Bible study.
And without judgment.
Without judgment. We speak to those hurts. And then once people feel heard, right, and that we get it, then you can add more to that and move them along.
Well, and part of that process is because we have heard a lot of things. So we're not surprised.
We are not.
And because of that, we know that we need to extend grace and truth both together, because that's the way forward. You know, we can't leave you where you are. And, you know, there is hope. There is always hope.
So if you need some help, we want to help you, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But also, if you know somebody and you just don't know what to tell them to do, I tell people all the time, look, if you will call 1-800-NEW-LIFE, there's somebody there. They woke up this morning. They wanted to help somebody. They came to work. They wanted to help somebody. We've never helped so many people.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
After 7 years, just one weekend, I completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Orange County, California, November 5th through the 7th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the New Life member thank you gift of the New Life Journal, 100 Days of Peace, 7 Ways to Choose Healing, Growth Has No Boundaries, a Restoration Bible, and a New Life grocery tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits, like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and the gift that we're giving anybody that gives us a gift is understanding and loving your child that smokes pot. And it's part of a series, and if you don't need it for yourself, you may have a child that has a child that needs it, your grandchild. They need to know about this. You may have a youth pastor that could sure use it. Gift of any amount, I'll send it to you.
I also think it's a helpful book for those who, because it's being legalized everywhere, but I think she does a great job with you about explaining what is really happening in the world of marijuana right now.
And don't think not my child.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Like even with our caller, Josie, and her daughter, I wonder about that because for some kids, this pushes you into suicidality.
Right. And it is not legal for any teenager.
Nope. Right.
It's illegal for all of them. And things that are legal, like cigarettes, can also be very, very harmful to us. So I think that's important to remember. And let's go back to the phones here. Oh, by the way, and that our caller, Josie, will send her the Understanding and Loving.
She's the caller of the day.
Understanding and Loving Your Child Who Has ADHD. We'll send that to her. All right, let's go to Jack here. He is calling from Indiana area. Jack, you're on. How are you?
Good. Thank you for taking my call, Steve, Becky, and Jill. How are we?
Good.
I'm calling today actually because I called the show a while back, and Jill and Mylan and Becky were on. And I called about a friend that was a good friend of mine that was a girl we had been hanging out with and that I think I developed feelings for. And my question at the time was whether I should break off the friendship in pursuit of maybe a relationship, but I didn't think that she felt the same way. It is now a few months later, and I've gotten myself into a new relationship actually of about a week. And my good friend came to me last night, and she told me that she does have feelings for me, and this is something that she's thought about for a long time, and she realized the timing is really poor on her part and was beating herself up about that. But I don't know. It's just there's not a lot of people I can talk to about it because we are amongst the same social circles, and I guess I'm kind of in a state of confusion, and so instead of an outright question, it's more about advice, I guess, that I'm seeking.
So Jack, once she saw you were desirable to another, suddenly those feelings came bubbling up, which often happens, right? When someone is maybe on the fence or has their own commitment issues, fear of getting too close. The fear of loss can also make somebody, or can clarify things readily for someone.
You know what else? It's just the way it is in the world of being single. I remember when I was single, I wanted to talk to flight attendants all the time, and no one, there was just, and I got married, and the next trip I took, a flight attendant came to my seat, kneeled down and said, "I've read one of your books." And I'm going, where was she when I was single? No attention. So it is just part of life. These things happen. But Jack, I would really wonder about the dynamic that's being described here. That is this true feelings for me as a boyfriend or as a future husband with the older person that you've been with, or is it truly I don't want to lose my friend and I've got to unconsciously these feelings are coming up because I don't want to lose my friend. I know that's what he responds to. I don't know that.
Or I thought he would always be there.
Yeah, I don't know that it's genuine. And
well,
what are you thinking?
She probably doesn't know.
Do you still have feelings for her?
I think that's a great question.
Thank you, Jack.
And something that I've kind of grappled with last night. But I got over her in some very real ways after I felt like I had gotten the rejection that I did.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it was something that I continued to test the waters for over and over again and continued to receive that rejection. So I would be lying to tell you if I felt the same way that I felt when I called New Life all those months ago. But this is a very important person that's in my life and a very important friend.
Well, so here I'm going to go to the new person that's in your life. You said you've been in this relationship for how long? This new one?
Yeah, so we've been dating since the end of September, and we've been official for just over a week. I actually met her parents just a few days ago.
Okay, and so does she know about this other person?
She knows I've got a good female friend. She knows that she knows her name and that I see her maybe once a week, but does not know about the conversation that transpired last night.
So, my suggestion would be is that if you really like this person that you're in relationship with right now, that I would shift my attention towards her. I would explain to the former, you know what, I appreciate you being honest with me, and I'm a little conflicted with this, but I don't want to dishonor this present person by even going backwards at all. Because I think that the present person would be really hurt, and it would wreck this new relationship, for something that may not ever materialize. And that's one of the things about relationships. It's like, that commitment piece is so powerful. And there's nothing like having your person, knowing that they're for you and, through thick and thin. And I know you're early on in the relationship, but I think it's risky to continue that conversation with the former as far as the future of this next relationship.
Yes, Jack, I think if, let's say, you jumped ship because it's like, oh my gosh, this is what I was waiting for, I don't know that her feelings would last. She's had a long time with you, and I think there's a reality to maybe her trying to hold on and her sadness because the friendship will shift. It's hard to have a friendship that's as close with a female when you're in another relationship. Yeah. And it doesn't mean it has to go away, but it will shift.
Right. I'm glad you called. I'm going to get to you a copy of Is This the One? And
great.
I think it'll help with some clarification there. And, here's the other thing in life. If you go this way, you'll make that the right choice if you're smart. And if you go that way, you'll make that the right choice. If you have a little bit of mental unhealth, you'll regret either way you go. So you have to really take your time to be wise. Well, we are about out of time. If you need help, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And if you're on the line, hold on. We'll get to your phone call in this next program, 1-800-229-3000. As I said before, there's a series, Understanding and Loving Your Child Who Has ADHD, and gift of any amount will send you your child who smokes pot. Well, we won't send you a child that's smoking pot. We'll send you the book. But we're going to do Intimacy and Marriage this weekend in Dallas, Texas. That's the 15th of October. Every Man's Battle goes to Orange County November the 5th and Restore November the 12th. And Life Recovery Today, well, it's every Thursday, 11 o'clock Eastern Time on the NRB Network. You can find out about that at liferecoverytoday.net. See you next time. Thank you, Becky. Thank you, Jill. And thanks to all of you who listen, watch, support, and pray for this ministry, 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.